I chose at the end of the day to go out that they wanted to do, and I knew because I did it for the money, because I needed the money, because they took away a million dollar lawsuit on me with my ankle injury, and I dropped that for them. And I was in. At the end of the day, though, I agreed to it. So whatever. It was a difficult pill to swallow, being that guy and being the guy for a year. I literally was the closer of the shows. I did the main events. I was stayed after the shows, signing fans for autographs for years, the top babyface in the company, losing 7 pay-per-views in a row. I lived it, being the top merchandise seller with John Cena, having them take it all away. It all ties into, I believe, my ankle injury and all that. It was not easy going through that, and then being told that you're never going to be John Cena is the last marquee name that will ever exist in the WWE, was told directly to me from Hunter. Made it very easy to know that right then and there, everything I'd worked for and killing myself was not going, no matter how over I would get, no matter how over I'd get it multiple different times through their platform, it was never going to pay off because they were never going to let it. But if you know that, and I've talked about this, you see how they do what they do to guys that start getting hot, they take it away. And everything, I've always told the truth on everything. It made it a very easy decision for me when my back and shoulder got to a certain point. I knew I had to get out of there. And again, the health thing kind of threw a wrench in my plans originally. But everything is back on track now. And my story is not done. And I firmly believe, and I've said this, I will be the biggest star in wrestling at some point once again. And there's not another human being on the planet like me. So
it is so frustrating as a performer to, be in that position and know that you have so much more to offer and be limited as to what you can do. Yes. Do you feel like it was, like Vince and Hunter and stuff? Did they have like a vendetta against you? Was it something? I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but it doesn't it really doesn't make sense to me, because you're drawing money, and that's what a company is there for, to draw money. You are one of their top stars. They're drawing money, yet they're putting the brakes on you and saying, no, we're not going to push you any further. From a business standpoint, that is the most ridiculous thing that I have ever heard in my life. And to this day, I can't understand it unless there is something behind the scenes that we don't know, that they're stepping on you for whatever reason. Are you aware of anything?
Yeah, there's multiple things on this to answer your question. So Vince has been burned by creating megastars, and John Cena was once, and I tell people this, when WCW existed, Vince had a need to create larger than life stars to survive. So that's why he allowed Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Those guys were the ones that stepped up and became the true, at a level we've never since let them get to that level. And those guys, you got to tip your cap to them. They were the ones that stepped up out of that whole group of guys. But he allowed a lot of guys to get over, and they made more money than they ever did. And then once Vince bought out WCW, you have to understand, he doesn't want to deal. He's been burned because this all goes back to the atmosphere they've created. They have this very negative atmosphere there where they treat people a certain way. Mm-hmm. So people, once you make a certain level of money there, you want to get the So what they have done is they've figured out a way, once they bought out the competition, to pay guys less than they've ever paid them, not push guys, because the brand was making more money than ever. So what he did is he designated one guy. John Cena was going to be the one guy they would give the power to, the last guy, and everybody else was kept under that. And it created this structure that for whatever reason, that's the way that they chose to run the business model. And they're making more money than ever. Now, from the live event standpoint and creating stars, that's all gone down. They don't care about that, though, because they're making more money than they've ever made on the back end. Now, with me, my ankle injury, I had to get attorneys. They did fire me. After I'd hurt my ankle, they sent me to a doctor that botched the surgery. All my fault. I'll take accountability for everything. I had to get attorneys, though, to keep my job to come back as Ryback. So my relationship was already strained with him. I moved back home to Vegas. They put me back on the road as Ryback. I have an ankle injury, which I'm actually going to get more stem cells. My ankle, my foot still doesn't work properly from all this that I got to deal with. It is what it is. But I dropped a multi-million-dollar. They forced me to drop a multi-million-dollar lawsuit when I got put in the main event with CM Punk, and I was told essentially I would be fired if I did not drop the lawsuit. That was ultimately what I was told. Wow. So I chose to trust them. and I dropped that lawsuit. The statute of limitations ran up. The moment that ran up is when they with me in my career. And Vince and them knew me very well, that they knew keeping me between that upper mid card and main event in purgatory and not Vince, and they knew me very well. They knew that would eat me alive more than anything, which is why you saw me. I was used very well still. I was used like I was always in every pay-per-view, but they would, if you look, anytime I would get momentum, they would just take it away. And that was the game with Vince. And I knew whatever reasons they had from the ankle thing, whatever it was, I think it was multiple things, and they knew that bothered me. It made it an easy decision to go away. Right. And I've talked about like Hunter, like Flex Magazine, the Muscle magazines multiple times wanted me on the cover. Hunter wouldn't let me do it. Like there's all these things that happen, different movie things. It's frustrating. But at the end of the day, I chose to work there. I hold myself accountable. I have my social media. I'm making more money than I've ever made. At the end of the day, I got my health back. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, self procedures. I paid for everything. They paid. They're sending me back down there again to Colombia for brand new stem cells, and I should be able to return hopefully very soon. So